Welcome to today's video. Today's video is the long-awaited Notion desktop tour. Basically exactly how I set up my Notion to stay as productive as possible. Because as I explained in the last video, like this is you without Notion. Chuck a bit of Notion in there, bang, that's you now. Like it just levels up everything. You just become a beast when it comes to your mental space, when it comes to productivity, when it comes to getting everything done that you want to get done. But yeah, also don't worry, because all of the stuff in this video applies whether or not you're a student, because I haven't actually changed my Notion dashboard already since being a student, and everything I've used is still applied to being a dropout. Yeah, basically all of the systems are universal. So without further ado, let's get into the tour. Okay, so this is Notion. This is what it looks like. You can access it either as the app or on the web. But with my Notion homepage, my Notion setup, I like it to be really simple. I find the easier it is to use, the more I actually use it and the more helpful it actually is. So for me, this is the homepage. This is where I like direct myself to everything. And on every page, I've got this imagery to just like associate the tasks I need to do with like a positive image, because I feel like the more vibrant and the more aesthetic your task management systems are, the more you actually want to use them, the more you stick to it. But yeah, anyway, so on this live dashboard homepage, I've got all of the pages I need, and then I've got these things called focals. And these are the things I'm really focusing on like in my day-to-day life, and the things I want to be focusing on for literally indefinite. And then if something drastic changes in my life, I might shift one of those focals and choose to focus on something else. So as of right now, I have 5 focals. The first is advocating for mental health and the pursuit / uncovering of passion for people. The second is becoming more articulate and widening my vocabulary through understanding. So through like reading and things like that, listening to podcasts, having conversations with other people on a deeper level, I'm building out my vocabulary, learning to become more articulate and be able to maintain a conversation without things like pauses and not really being able to get my words out. So far, that's been a lifesaver. Third focal is building stronger relationships and developing my social adept. By this, I mean I saw relationships for quite a while, or for the longest time, as just like face value. Like you just have a mate, that's it. But actually there's this deeper meaning to life, and that stems from relationships and how you enjoy shared experiences with one another, and then how you relive those experiences, etc. So I'm really keen to develop out stronger relationships and basically build my ability to do so. So hence that focal. Fourth focal, setting up a financial support system so that I'm not forced to work for the sake of working. By this I literally just mean building up different sources of income, investments and things such as that I'm in a position to support myself with the capital I already have, so that I can work for the sake of working and not work for the sake of extra capital. I feel like I've already done that to some extent, blending the two, so I'm working for enjoyment, but I also do need the capital to survive. So like, it's not quite there yet, but we're getting there. And then the final one is staying healthy, because I feel like if you're staying healthy, you keep your energy high. I want to keep working my body and basically put myself in an optimal position to tackle everything I want to do and just like feel overall better, because yeah, when your body's not in it, you're not in it, your mind's not in it, your mental health isn't there, so it doesn't work. So those are the 5 focals, but then one overarching idea for all of that, and I've got this on the homepage so that I keep this in the back of my mind at all times, is that never give into normality at the sacrifice of excitement. And now I took this into consideration when I dropped out of uni. Sometimes I find that the path I'm on, I start to give into normality, so I start to give in to the typical path in life, and I lose the excitement that I have when I'm not on that path, when I'm on a different path, when I'm on a path I'm carving out that is unique to myself. I love that excitement, I love the thrill of that, it just makes me happier. So yeah, then I've got a little summary of what that means, but the premise is don't give into excitement for the sake of normality, and to find ways of doing that. Cool, those are the focals. That is all on the home screen, so I see that every single day when I wake up or when I check Notion and log into Notion, which is every day. And then the first one is the task manager. So this is a task manager that one of my flatmates actually built, and then I personalized for exactly what I need. I talked about it in the last video, but you open this up, there's a few different parts to this. So the first is weekly foci. So these are 3 bullet points, and that is exactly what I want to be focusing on that week. So that's like the overarching ideas, the general theme of things. And then what we've got is the inbox. So here you click on it to create a new task. So for example, it can be literally anything that you have to do, but if I want to buy a new laptop and I want to do a bit of research on that, yeah, look at all the specs and then buy a laptop that's going to be suited to my needs. What's the energy? It doesn't take a lot of energy because I like what I want to do it, so it doesn't take energy at all. I just get on with it. Context, so this is actually to do with my man of work, so I don't need to fill that in. Module code, miscellaneous, because it doesn't really relate to my work or YouTube or anything like that. And then you set either whether it's ongoing, a priority, or you set a due date. So if you set a due date, for example the 26th, it disappears from that inbox, and then when I need to do it, it will come up. It will come up into day if it's due either that day or the day after. It will come up in due soon if it's due within a week. And then any other tasks you can find under their correlated course codes. So miscellaneous, you'll find that there, buy new laptops. And that is how this task management system works. But then if I didn't attach a date to that task and instead I clicked priority, it would go into today's task. So for example, you see at the top of the task table for today, it says buy a new laptop. But then also if you don't check priority and instead you check ongoing, then it goes to the ongoing column, and that's everything that doesn't have an associated due date. It's not impending, but just something you want to do over time. That goes down there. And essentially now you've got a place to add all of your tasks, and then it automatically builds a to-do list for that day and then tells you everything you've got upcoming and anything that's ongoing. So you can just crack it all out, and each day rather than sitting down and creating your own to-do list, it completely automates it for you. I honestly just think this is a lifesaver, and it has saved me so much time. Then you can find all of the tasks will be under the tasks table itself, and then the module table is pretty self-explanatory. It is all of the modules that you create. So as well as these 4, you can obviously remove some of those, but you can add all of your own as well. So before I had all of my course codes for university, and that's actually still in the template, I believe. So if you do go into the link in the description, I've made a template for this task manager and loads of other stuff in this video, so they are all in the description. You can go and check them out if you'd like. Anyway, back to it. So that is the task management system. So if we go back to the live dashboard, I've then got Uni of Bath. So this is where I tracked everything related to university. I am obviously now not at university anymore. I did drop out and I'm now working full time. If you want to know the logic behind that, that video is also up there. But yeah, it was a bit of a mad decision, and personally I found it the best decision to have made. But anyway, this is how I got organised for university. So what I found really helpful was in overall life, I had these retrospective planning systems. Now this is really simple. Again, I like to not have friction between my mind and the notes I'm taking, so I don't want like unnecessary steps. All I have was a review of that semester. So you click on the review, I've got what went well, and then I've got all of the room for improvement. And I pretty much use this to optimize my semester too. Now obviously I'm not here anymore, but from the point that I was here, it did help to optimize it. So for everything that I needed room for improvement, I'd like come up with an idea to improve that aspect. So for example, if I didn't manage to find time to consistently do extra work, I need more efficiency, and that came from a better morning routine. If I wanted to stay on top of lectures and do the problem sheets as they were set, I'd have to set quotas for the uni work, and then you use those quota completions. So for example, if I set a quota of 4 hours a day and I completed it, I need some sort of reward system to keep me in the flow and keep me doing that. And that is basically how I'd review my semesters. That is in semester review. Then I've got this hourly plan, and this I went on, like I properly deeped it and explored exactly how much time I would have if I slept 9 hours a day, and exactly how much I could squeeze into every day. So I built out this little page where it had everything that I wanted to do, how much time I could roughly spend on each, and then I literally did it day by day, roughly how much time I'd be spending, to see if it actually worked. It was intense. Yeah. So anyway, going back to the University Hub, we've then got the grocery tracker. Now I also explained this in a few of the previous videos, but this is honestly just a lifesaver. So it tells me everything that I have in stock and anything that's going out of stock within a day or within a week. Luckily there isn't any, because any there was, I ate, and I don't have much food left in stock. But it gives you a massive overview of everything that you have, so you can decide what you want to eat. And then when it comes to actually doing your shopping, it is so easy, because you just scroll down to the shopping tab, and then you can either do a priority shop or a full shop. Priority shop is just all of the essentials that you need to get in, and then the full shop is everything that you've got on your stock list that you don't have in stock. So you can go through and just add like all of the things that you might want, and then anything new or anything you're feeling like trying, you add to this list, and then next time it will come up in the full shop and you can decide whether or not you want it. Once you get it, you just click stocked, and then you put in the date that it goes off, and then that adds it all to the system, and again it tells you when everything goes out of date, so you can use it up before it does, saving you so much money, and honestly, again, another lifesaver. So this template is also in the description below, so you can go check that out if you'd like. Anyway, going back to the university homepage, then I've got all of my mech end stuff. So coursework and notes, this is just all of my notes from year 1. Contacts, those are all of the contacts I'd make, and then all of the emails of those people, so I could easily reach out to them if I needed a specific thing. So for example, there was a placement manager, I could just reach out to them, and it just gave me a place to keep all of that information, because I find myself just writing it on little post-it notes in random places, forgetting it exists, and not being able to contact them when it came around to it, which was really frustrating. And then next up, I got the course, so that is just like random information about the course. I didn't really fill that in. Resources and databases, so that was things to help me with technical information, writing lab reports, and I was actually doing automotive engineering, so it was a database with all of the information that automotive engineers would need. That just gave me a really quick, easy way to get into all of the stuff that I needed. Finally, software shortcuts. I was so bad when it came to shortcuts and remembering them. So any shortcuts I pick up, I'd write down in here. So if I needed, for example, to be able to search through an entire document, I probably wouldn't remember how to do that until I checked the software shortcut here, and that's just Control G. I don't know how I've gone through the last 5 years without knowing that, but yeah, I didn't until about 3 weeks ago, which is mad. And then all of the miscellaneous stuff, so like the address of the uni, the details of my uni, and I also applied to UCL when I was going through a bit of a phase on my course. I'm probably not going to go there now, but yeah, those are the details for that. Kept it all there, so I know where everything ideas. Oh, a little bit of a tea break. Nice. Now, probably my favorite page, this is Betterment. So you go into the Betterment page on the live dashboard, it comes up with this. This is brilliant. So on this page, first of all, if I was getting distracted from university work, what would I do about it? This is what I do. Also have a little tab for habits I'm trying to establish. Those are like the 3 key habits I wanted to establish and how they were going. These are just little tips I could write down to help me overcome bad habits. So for example, if I was sleeping in, I'd just read or listen to music instead. And then I'd use jealousy as a means to get out of bed in the morning. This one I don't actually really agree with anymore. I'm trying to just remove jealousy completely so I can focus on the inner drive. But like when jealousy was still a thing for me, this was really helpful because it got me up, it got me moving. Cool. And then finally social, I had a little tip to listen to heartfelt music when messaging people, because I genuinely found that if your mind is in a heartfelt mood, your replies were so much more genuine and so much deeper, and yeah, so it allowed you to have a better conversations. And then finally, down at the bottom, this is my daily tracker. So I've actually printed this off and stuck it to my walls, but I built it in Notion, and it's just like a list of godly actions that I think I should be doing each day and whether or not I've done it. So for example, on a Monday, I can just tick it off, etc. Yeah, like I said, I actually just printed that off and stuck it onto my wall instead. Cool. And then up the top, the 2 main things. So when it comes to my betterment, basically I focus on like the personal development side of things, and then more like my mental health and enrichment side of things. The personal development and mental health definitely comes from books, and then music. So I've got 2 tabs for the 2, funnily enough. So go into book tracker. These are all of the books that I've either read or want to read. I don't actually include audiobooks on here, but I'm going to start doing that. All you have to do is you click add, you type in the name of the book, you upload an image, categorize it based on whether you started, finished, or not started, and then like what type of book it is. Whether it's an audiobook, physical book, digital, etc. And then it comes up here in this gallery view, and then once I finish it, I basically write a summary in this page so that I can see the collection of all of my books and then all of the takeaways I've had from each of those books, because I found I never really took notes on the books. I never really remembered off the top of my head. Probably subconsciously I'd remember some of it, but off the top of my head I couldn't remember the key points. So I'm really keen to create this space, this digital mind, where I can store all of the takeaways from those books, and that's going to be really, really helpful. That's stored here. So again, for this, I'll also have the template of this linked in the description below if you do want to check it out. That's it for the book tracker. If we go ahead to the music tracker, this is very, very simple. It's just like the different instruments and the songs I want to learn. So for example, for All of Me, I literally just linked a video that teaches me All of Me on piano. Very, very straightforward and nothing much to it. And then any like key points I want to know, or like key things I'm getting stuck on, I can just write down here. So you just hit slash, add a bullet list. That's it. Very, very easy to use. Lovely. So that's 3 of them down. Going on to YouTube, this one's pretty simple. So I've got my sponsor tracker, video tracker, income, Skillshare courses, and growth ideas. So the sponsor tracker itself, basically this is just a joint page between me and my manager, and it helps to track which sponsors we've reached out to, which are confirmed, sort of like the pricing, structure, the negotiations, all of that side of things. It just helps us to stay aligned on what we need to do. And then for video tracker, this is all of the videos that I need to do. I can store it in a few different ways. So I've got the Kanban style view, where it goes from being an idea to needing research to being scripted, reviewed, filmed, and then published, etc. So that's there on the video tracker. Then for income, that's basically just like where I'm taking everything in from, because obviously I sell cue cards, I sell digital goods, I have the ad revenue, I've got sponsorship payments. It's basically where it all comes in, and then how I manage the taxes and stuff on that. I keep track of all that in my income. Obviously not going to go into that. Then the Skillshare courses, this is just random ideas for courses. Again, it's a joint page with me and my mate called Ben. We're planning to create some Skillshare courses between the 2 of us, so that's just tracking our like thought process behind each of them and then storing all of the information for it all. And then finally, growth ideas. So there's not much in this because I kind of just act on it straight away when I come up with a new growth idea, but yeah, just like random ideas, thoughts that I want to chuck down when it comes to mind. It's just a really easy way to do that. Nice. Next up, my digital mind. Now this is a place for just like all of the random stuff, everything that I haven't already explained. This goes into here. This is everything. So first of all, obviously you've got the really calm, the soothing banner at the top, just to get you into a good mindset whenever you open this page. Now I've got this page to do pretty much everything. I use it to plan trips. So what you have to do again is hit slash, create a new page, and then just whack out everything to do with that trip that gets planned, and it's just really easy to see what I have to do for that trip. I've got my habit review, so any habits I'm trying to establish, if there's things that are going slightly wrong or I can't keep track of and I want to remember the rationale behind it, I write that in here. So for example, waking up on time, when I've had breakfast, it's easy to get up, so I get my shake ready before I go to bed, and just like random thoughts that are helping me to achieve that habit. Then mental offload, this is essentially just like my form of journaling. So if I'm ever stressed, low, uncertain, or any of these emotions, I can tap in and just start filling it out, and that just helps me to kind of get it all off my mind onto a page or into the digital world, the metaverse. And yeah, it means that I just don't have to keep it in my mind. It's written down somewhere, so I don't have to worry about it, but I know that it's like kept track of, essentially. Because even if I never do anything with it, if I write down everything I'm stressed about, it just alleviates so much of that stress, and it is a lifesaver. So that's why that's there. Same for all of the emotions and some like a bucket list. Mental foundation, this is a place to just keep track of more things. So the books and podcast thoughts, that's actually taken care of in the books tab in the Betterment page. I just haven't removed it from here yet. But for example, if I open it up, it goes into podcasts and books. So not overthinking, it's just a summary of all of the takeaways that I got from that podcast. That was actually a great podcast. I definitely recommend that. And the relationships one, that is again a not overthinking podcast by Ali Abdaal. Great episode. And then just like new vocabulary. So anytime I come across new vocabulary, I just write down in here just so I remember it easier. I've got loads of social things, so those are the things that I want to remember about like mates and stuff. That's quite like important things I don't want to forget, that helps me to bring up, remember it, and enrich those relations. Because again, at the start I said I'm really into building deeper relationships with people now. That's a really good way to do it. In engineer, random product ideas. So I've got like an autonomous cooker and all-in-one smart desk. Interests, so these are really cool concepts. So for example, hedonic adaptation, and then blockchain. I actually haven't written much in here, but lingo. The only thing that's in there is AMMs at the moment. I need to do a lot more research on the blockchain, and then this is just a way to dump all of my ideas in. And then yeah, on random, we've also got fair actors. And a little shopping list. Yeah, like I said, this is literally just my digital mind. Whenever I have a thought, rather than going to notes, I go to here and I'm trying to build out this in a way that lets me just like create a new page and start typing. That's my digital mind. Right, almost there. Next up, finances. So finances is, as it says it's on the tin, it just helps me to keep track of all of my finances. When it comes to crypto, it tells me where all of my crypto is stored. It helps me to keep track of the pay and the people that I need to invoice, and just make sure like I know roughly what I'm doing when it comes to my finances and tax and all of that. So yeah, that's helpful. And then the final page is future projects and rabbit holes. Things in here are like the extreme table tennis, when we properly procrastinated from doing our uni work, me and my flatmates, and just went into all of this. It was bloody brilliant, but it was a massive rabbit hole and it took away from everything I was doing. And then ecom, so that's when, again, when I went on a similar path to applying to UCL, I also had an alternate path where I just like drop out and do drop shipping, but I didn't feel like drop shipping would be as satisfying and as fulfilling, hence I dropped out, and now I'm working full-time on a path that I actually think offers real value to people and helps them in their life. So yeah, that's that. And yeah, that is my life dashboard. That is like my entire Notion setup. I do hope you found this helpful, and obviously if you do want like any of the templates I've mentioned in this video in the description, and if you want me to run through any of the things that aren't templates or like how you set up, drop it in the comments, and either me or obviously the army of people watching this video will be able to help you. So yeah, do drop a comment if you want to know anything more about Notion or anything more about this setup. Like I said, there are lots of way better like Notion homepages, Notion setups for productivity, for workflows, for all of that. I just like it to be really simple, really easy to use. Like hop in, open a page, and just blur everything out. That's how I like it. But obviously a lot of people are very different. I definitely recommend checking out Ali Abdaal's video on it and Thomas Frank's. They were legends in the game when I started creating my dashboard and when I first got into Notion. But otherwise, yeah, do hope you've enjoyed this video. Massive thanks to Notion for sponsoring it. If you do want to get Notion, top link in the description below. You definitely won't be disappointed, because remember, this you before Notion, this you after Notion. And on that note, hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to drop a subscribe for all of the future content. There is bags and bags of it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
I live inside my own world of make-believe.